Welcome to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership, where you'll hear insights and useful strategies, as well as lessons learned from other nonprofit leaders and valuable tips from a variety of experts. Here to help you with the challenges and opportunities you face day after day is your host and nonprofit leadership expert, Sarah Olivieri.
Welcome, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, and today I am joined by the glorious Sprocket, the dog, who helps me enjoy all things in life. Are you ready, Sprocket? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it. Today we're talking about a real question I recently answered for a board member. How can we justify approving such a big expense when we are in a tight budget year? So I certainly have a few things to say about this. First of all, I don't believe that boards should be approving budgets or expenses, but that's not our purpose here today. I did a separate video on that and or recording on that, and you can go check it out in the library of recordings wherever you are listening to this. But more importantly, let's get to the issue of not all expenses are created equal. That's the first part of this answer. You have expenses basically fall into two or three categories. We have our income generating expenses. That's money that we spend that helps us bring more money in, also known as revenue. Then we have impact generating expenses. Those are expenses that help us make an impact. And we certainly have some expenses that help us make an impact and generate revenue at the same time. And then we have the third category that I call the flush it down the toilet expenses. They're necessary expenses, but they don't necessarily get us anything significant in terms of money or impact. And those would be things like required licenses and certificates, employer taxes that we have to pay to the government, things like that. Now, here's the thing. When you have a tight budget, the mistake that many nonprofits make is to first look at cutting expenses as the solution. So listen up. Here is the real solution to how to deal with a tight budget. The solution to dealing with a tight budget is to actually increase your revenue generating expenses. Now, you may find that you have a short cash flow, right? And so cuts, like you literally don't have enough money to increase your revenue generating expenses. And so what we need to do is we need to make cuts in order to pull money from somewhere else so that we can spend more money on revenue generation. So that might look like suspending or reducing our programming temporarily. It might look like moving employees from one role to another, potentially temporarily. It could look like dipping into reserves, or even potentially taking a loan, all of which are okay if you are investing in revenue generating expenses that you feel fairly confident that they are going to work. So, what do we say to a board member who says, how can we justify approving such a big expense when we are in a tight budget year? If that expense is a revenue generating expense that is likely to work, like investing in your ability to reach out to major donors and do prospect research for major donors, then you're absolutely going to do it, because if you don't, your financial situation is going to get worse and worse. And if you do, your financial situation is going to get better and better. If you would love tips like this in your inbox, I send those through the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, and you can sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. If you're thinking, oh my God, I want my team to be in the room with Sarah and getting advice like this, that's what I do with my clients in the Thrive program. And you can find out if you're the right fit for the Thrive program by going to pivotground.com/application. You'll fill in a really short application and I will review it personally. And then if it seems like you might be a good fit, we will set up a call and have a conversation about all the details and what's involved. Until next time, all the best.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.